So now starting again from page 6 of your book, here we have to discuss national development. So we have seen till now that different individuals seek different goals. Obviously, then their idea or notion of national development is also likely to be different. So this we have discussed earlier also, that different individuals, they have different developmental goals. Like farmers, they want better irrigation facilities, they want good prices for their crops, cheap labor. Then businessmen, we have seen, they want subsidized electricity, tax benefits. Then we have seen the case of traders, they also want less taxes, cheap labor, high prices, and so on. We have seen this, that different person, they have a different developmental goals. So it is very important to keep in mind that different persons could have different as well as conflicting notion of country's development. This also we have discussed, that at times two person or group of person may say things which are conflicting. And in this we have discussed the example of a tribals, like to get more electricity, industrialists may want more dams, but this may submerge the land and disturb the lives of the people who are displaced, such as tribals. So the tribals might resent this and may prefer small check dams or tanks to irrigate their lands. So different persons can have different developmental goals, this we have seen. And what may be development for one may not be development for the other, it may even be destructive for the other, like this we have seen in the case of tribals. So similarly here also it is very important to keep it is important to keep in mind that different persons could have different as well as conflicting notion of a country's development. Different people, they have different idea. Now moving to page 7 of your book, on this page newspaper report is given and certain questions are also given. Like after reading the report, you can answer them easily, like who are the people who benefited and who did not. So those who dumped the toxic waste have benefited, while the people of Ivory Coast were not benefited, rather we can say they suffered. And next is, what should be the developmental goal for this country? So obviously pollution free environment should be the developmental goal for this country. And what can be some of the developmental goals for your village, town or locality? So obviously sanitation, security, better education, healthcare facilities. So these can be the developmental goals for the locality. Now moving to page 8 of your book. Now here the topic which we have to discuss is how to compare different countries or states, or how a country is said to be developed or underdeveloped. So you might ask, if development can mean different things, how come some countries are generally called developed and other underdeveloped? So when we compare different things, they could have similarities as well as differences. For example, let us look at students in the class itself. How do we compare different students? They differ in their heights, health, talents and interest. So each and every child differ on these parameters. Like the healthiest student may not be the most studious one, and the most intelligent student may not be the friendliest one. So how do we compare students? What will be the criteria for comparison? Well, the criteria we may use depends on the purpose of comparison. Like we use different criteria to choose a sports team. That is, what will be the criteria to choose a sports team? Physically fit students. We have to look for the physically fit students. And for debate team, what will be the criteria? Good orators we have to choose, that is students who can speak well and fluently. For a music team, the students who are good in music, or a team to organize a picnic, what we will see? We will see the students who have good convincing skills and managerial skills as well. But usually we take one or more important characteristic of persons and compare them based on these characteristics. There can be different characteristics which can be used for comparison, like friendliness, spirit of cooperation, creativity, marks secured. So all these can be criteria for comparison, but this can be used when we are talking about the class. Now for development, if we are talking about development, we use income criteria. That is, income is considered to be the one of the most important attributes. So For other things, we have seen the case of a class, we use different criteria, but for development we use income criteria. So countries with higher income are more developed than others with less income. So whatever people like and should have, they will be able to get with greater income. So this is the perspective. So greater income itself is considered to be one important goal. Now what is the income of a country? Well, the income of all the residents of the country. This gives us the total income of the country. But now here is a twist, you can say, that for comparison between countries, total income is not such an useful measure. Why? This is so because countries have different populations. So comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn in that country. So to know the true picture, that is whether people in one country are better off than others in the different country, we can compare the average income for this. Now what is average income? Average income is the total income of the country divided by its total population, and this average income is also called per capita income. Please keep this in mind, this is very important. Per capita income or average income, this means total income divided by its total population. Now in World Development Reports brought out by the World Bank, per capita income criteria is used in classifying countries. So the World Bank is using per capita income criteria in order to classify countries. Now countries with per capita income of US dollar 12,616 per annum and above in 2012, I'm talking about 2012, are called rich countries, and those with the per capita income of US dollar 1035 or less are called low income countries. So this was the criteria which was given by the World Bank. Now according to this criteria, India comes in the category of low middle income countries because its per capita income in 2012 was just US dollar 1530 per annum. Now moving to page 9, here the topic which we have to discuss is average income. Just now we have discussed average income, or we have seen the per capita income, that is total income divided by total population. Now while averages are useful for comparison, but they also hide disparities, that is inequalities. How? Now let's see this with the help of example. Let us consider two countries A and B, and for the sake of simplicity we have assumed that they have only 5 citizens each. So we are taking two countries, the example of two countries, and for the sake of simplicity we have assumed that only 5 citizens are living in these countries. Now table 1.2 is given on page 9 of your book. Now based on the data given in the table 1.2, calculate the average income for both the countries. Formula you know of average income, that is total income divided by total population. Now for country A, add the income of 5 persons and divide by 5 because our total population is 5, so divide by 5. And similarly calculate for country B. Now the answer which you will get is 10,000 each for country A also and for country B also. So the average income you have seen is same for both the countries. So now the question arises, will you be equally happy to live in both these countries? Are both equally developed? So students, some of us may like to live in country B if we are assured being its 5th citizen, because he is earning more than other 4 citizens of the country. Even though both the countries have identical average income, country A is preferred because it has more equitable distribution. If you look at the table, in country A people are neither very rich nor extremely poor. On the other hand, most citizens in country B are poor and one person is extremely rich. So while average income is useful for comparison, but it does not tell us how the income is distributed among the people. So through this example we have shown that averages are useful for comparison, but they also hide disparities. So we can say that country A is country with no rich and no poor, and country B is country with rich and poor.